At a gathering with friends, Jiang Ran asked me if I had settled on a boyfriend. The question was directed at me, but the answer was meant for Qin Muchuan. It's just that everyone knows I've been tangled up with him for 10 years, and we still haven't made it official. Everyone's eyes turned to him at once. He looked languid. What are you looking at me for? Gigi and I are just bros. Jiang Ran was almost amused by him. A woman's youth fades fast. Nanji, you need to hurry. I nodded in full agreement. Well, that's why I'm getting married. Everyone was stunned, and I explained with a smile. My family set me up with someone a while back, and after spending some time together, it felt right. Qin Muchuan, always so carefree, crushed the wine glass in his hand in front of everyone. It was about half a year ago that I made up my mind to completely let go of Qin Muchuan and start seeing other people. Last New Year's Day, he came back early from a business trip, knocked on my door in the middle of the night, confessed his feelings, and we ended up in bed together. That night, we did all sorts of wild things, from the couch to the bed to the bathroom. Only when we were utterly exhausted did he finally let me go. Before falling asleep, I asked him to confirm, "Are we together now?" His eyes darkened as he stared at me for a long time, sizing me up. My heart sank little by little. "Of course, you fool. Since when have I ever been the casual type?" He reached out and wiped the moisture from the corner of my eye. "But still, let's not tell them for now." At the time, I didn't catch the hidden meaning behind his words. Exhausted yet overjoyed, I drifted into a deep sleep, waking up in the middle of the night to find the other side of the bed cold. Qin Muchuan is not here. The aches and marks all over my body tell me that last night was not a dream. His voice came from the balcony. I quietly got up and slipped on a robe. It was 4 in the morning, with the sky just beginning to lighten. Qin Muchuan was sitting on the balcony of the living room, smoking. "Looks like you didn't sleep a wink all night." His face was gaunt and burdened with worry, the cigarette tip glowing and fading between his fingers. This is a sight I have never seen before. My heart ached a little, and I was about to speak when I heard his words. "I'm finally tainted, no longer worthy of you." I stood frozen in place. He was holding his phone, and his words were clearly not meant for me. Amid the swirling smoke, he furrowed his brow slightly and took a slow drag of his cigarette. He blew a smoke ring, his voice hoarse and raspy. "Nanji, don't worry, I won't bother you anymore." Nanji. So the person on the other end of the phone is also called Nanji. My heart felt like it had been struck by a heavy hammer, shattering into pieces. "I've decided to be with her. Are you satisfied now?" I suddenly lost all my strength, my legs went weak, and I slowly slumped to the ground against the wall. Before that, Qin Muchuan and I had been dancing around each other for 10 years, never quite defining our relationship. He held my hand, wrapped his arm around my waist, and held me as we slept. He took such good care of me that all our friends found it incredible. "Are you taking care of your wife, or raising a daughter?" Everyone could tell I had a crush on him, but he said he wanted to be best friends forever. "So, do you like Nanji?" He stroked my head, his eyes full of affection. "Gigi is such a sweetheart, who wouldn't adore her, right?" "Gigi, from high school through college and into our working lives, we've maintained a close brotherly bond, more than friends, less than lovers." His sudden fiery passion for me last night was just him forcing himself to be with me, so he could put her mind at ease. 10 years of waiting and rushing turned out to be nothing but a joke. "Nanji, I wish you happiness. It's time for me to live my own life." Qin Muchuan said goodbye to the person on the phone, his expression tinged with a hint of solemn resolve. It's so painful for him to have decided to be with me. The sweet joy of the early night vanished completely in that moment. Tears streamed down. I went back to my room, curled up under the covers, not even daring to cry out loud. He didn't come back to the room to sleep all night. At daybreak, he pulled me out of the bed covers. "Sleepyhead, still tired, ah." He chuckled softly and kissed me on the forehead. "I have things to do, so I'll head off now. You can keep sleeping." 3. After Qin Muchuan left, I got up, took a shower, and scrubbed myself all over. When I turned on the computer, I found that he hadn't logged out of his cloud drive from the last time he borrowed it. At this moment, my curiosity to pry reached its peak. I'm dying to know what the other Nanji looks like. I actually managed to find it, deep within layers of folders. I found a subfolder named Old Times, filled with photos of a girl and his handwritten diary. Between the dense lines of text lies his overwhelming and passionate love for her. He said, "I've transferred all my love for you onto her, and taking care of her feels like taking care of you. You think I'm too young and naive, but she says I'm mature and considerate." Nanji, I've grown up now. Why won't you turn around and look at me? Someone once said, "Every silhouette you chase is the unsettled dust of another person." The person I've chased and waited for 10 years has someone else in their Heart that they can't let go of. My heart aches, and I can't tell if it's for him or for myself. She has known Qin Muchuan since childhood and is a few years older than us. Her name is Nanji. Details once overlooked came flooding back like a tide. For instance, the look of sheer joy in his eyes when he heard a classmate call my name on the day he transferred to our school in his sophomore year. To that end, he took the initiative to ask to be my desk mate. He was wild and unrestrained, yet his grades were exceptionally good, and he was handsome too, making him very popular among girls. He didn't care about anyone else, but he was always kind to me, patiently explaining problems and secretly slipping me cake when I failed an exam. Only now did I see that note. Nanji, she's really so slow. I've taught her math several times and she still can't get it. Every time I want to lose my temper. But then I remember I'm treating her as a stand-in for you, so I just have to hold it in. He likes to keep calling my name, but he always misspelled my name, writing it as Nanji. My name is Su Nanji, with the Ji from Gardenia. I corrected him many times, but he still did it. Now I realize he did it on purpose. He is calling someone else through me. When you call me Nanji, you're mistaking me for her. Nanji is actually Nanji. Gigi is the one calling me. I remember last night, his eyes red as he asked me, Nanji, do you love me? Nanji, will you be with me? After receiving my affirmative answer, he kissed me and whispered in my ear over and over, Nanji, I miss you. Nanji, I've been really good. Nanji, please don't abandon me. For after that day, our relationship didn't progress any further. By mutual unspoken agreement, neither of them brought up what happened on New Year's Eve. One day he said he wanted to introduce a friend to me. Gigi, a friend of mine is coming to Binhai. Would you like to come along and meet them? Okay. I stopped pestering him to find out who it was, and I stopped asking why, because I saw the message that popped up on his phone. You say you've grown up and know how to take care of someone. I'm curious, how well are you looking after my replacement? Let's meet up. I want to see what she's really like, or I won't feel at ease. We agreed to meet at a seaside restaurant. She wasn't as good looking as in her photos, but she had a gentle temperament and exuded a mature charm that made her feel very approachable. I'm Nanji. H1 often mentions you, saying your name is the same as mine. I didn't expect it to be true. Qin Muchuan's hand, intertwined with mine, tightened as he explained to me, Gigi, Nanji and I grew up together in the same compound. We're really close. Hello, I'm Su Nanji. I reached out and shook her hand without a word. While Qin Muchuan went to get drinks, she looked me up and down. Chuan has always been outstanding. I bet there are plenty of people after him, right? A woman chasing a man. And she kept at it for 10 years. Now that's what I call persistence. Still wearing a gentle and magnanimous demeanor, yet her eyes carried the condescension of a benefactor. You should thank your name for getting you close to him. When I heard about what happened between him and you, I truly felt sorry for him. To be honest, I don't think you two should be together. 5. Since that day, Qin Muchuan and I seem to have grown distant. He used to ask me out whenever he was free, and we'd chat almost every day. Our last message was still from the day he took me to see Nanji. I never reached out to him again, because on the day of the dinner, when I came back from the restroom, I overheard his conversation with Nanji. Honestly, after not seeing you for a few years, you've really impressed me. But are you really going to be with her? I just think she's not good enough for you. She's fine for a fling, but not for marriage. Qin Muchuan said in a plaintive tone, you don't want me anyway. So why do you care so much, even if I married a pig? It's none of your business, but you can't just throw yourself away like that. Life is still long. You have to at least choose someone you truly like. Come on, you say you care about me, but you're actually more heartless than anyone. He let out a cold, sulky laugh, and she looked a bit helpless. You've already decided to be with her, and you're still blaming me for not wanting you. Decisions can be changed for you at any time, including her. What is she? She's always been just your substitute, nothing more. Hearing him say these words himself, I knew it was time to let go. Perhaps sensing my coldness, Qin Muchuan sent me a message half a month later. Be good, I've been busy lately. There's so much to do at the end of the year. Once I'm done, I'll take you out to play. But I saw that he had gone to her city, Jiangqing, again, and even learned that he was considering job opportunities there. Even though the last meal was unpleasant, she and I still added each other on WeChat. she was showing off a photo with him on her moments. His eyes were full of adoration and submission, and she called him her good little dog. The boy next door has grown up. From now on, he'll be my good little dog. I silently gave it a like, and she messaged me privately. I've decided to take him back. He was always meant to be mine. Attached were photos, one of which showed a bite mark on her neck. I just realized he's actually a really good guy. Just a bit of a jerk sometimes, I replied. Make yourself at home. Just before the Spring Festival holiday, Qin Muchuan only gave me one phone call to tell me he had found a new job in Jiangqing. Jiangqing's company is stronger and offers more room for growth. He wasn't asking me, he was telling me. Well, congratulations, Gigi. Are you upset? I'll be heading to Jiangqing right after the Spring Festival. Once I've settled everything there, I'll come and take you with me. You can also start making preparations. Quit your job if you need to. Okay, I am going to quit, but not for him. I came to this unfamiliar coastal city with him back then because he said he loved the sea. It just dawned on me that she was here back then. Qin Muchuan, this time I won't go running after others with you anymore. 6. After returning home, I no longer resisted the blind dates arranged by my parents. At the same time, I decided to stay local and help run the family business throughout the entire holiday, aside from a mass sent Happy New Year. There was no communication between him and me. I went on one blind date after another, while he kept popping up in Nanji's moments from time to time. On the Lantern Festival, Mr. Song, my father's former boss, played matchmaker and introduced me to a potential partner. I only went to the blind date because my parents dragged me along. The previous ones had all been such a letdown. I've completely let go of any expectations about marriage. Hello, I'm Qinxingye. The man was handsome and exuded a kind of magic that made people feel at ease and secure. My once resistant heart finally settled, and I reached out with a smile. Sunanchi, our parents have actually known each other all along, so our families are well acquainted. It's just that I've been away from home for years, so I've never met him, or perhaps I've seen them, but they didn't leave much of an impression. After chatting all morning, we were still eager to talk more, and both sets of parents were extremely pleased. My dad praised Qinxingye for being young and promising, while Chen's parents called me gentle and well-behaved. After lunch, old Mr. Song pointed at us. Look at them, a perfect match. He's talented and she's beautiful. He made an on-the-spot decision. How about we make it official now? Deal. Uncle Chen, afraid that Qinxingye might voice his objection, eagerly agreed without a moment's hesitation. I think Xiaoqin is really great. It's settled. Then, I've been on no fewer than 30 blind dates recently, and my dad has completely lost patience with me. He agreed without a second thought. I couldn't bring myself to say anything against it. Having met so many people through blind dates, I know all too well how hard it is to find someone who is well matched in background and not unpleasant to be with. In no time, they had settled everything: the bride price, the wedding house, the dowry, and even plans for having children later on. After the new year, Qin Muchuan finally called me again to fill me in on how things were going for him in Jiangqing. Shi, where are you now? Did you quit your job? At home. Quit. He was silent for a moment on his end. I just started at a new company and I've been swamped. I'll come see you once things calm down. He never brought up again his original offer to pick me up. In the end, nothing more was said, but I don't really care. 7. We met again on May Day. Chen Lu, a high school classmate, was getting married. He was well liked, so everyone came back for his wedding. After many years since graduation, everyone has gathered together once again. When talking about the past, Qin Muchuan and I are an unavoidable topic. Nanji, most of our classmates are already married. Have you finally settled down or not? Jiang Ran patted my shoulder, but his eyes were fixed on Qin Muchuan. Everyone else's eyes also turned to him in unison. Qin Muchuan narrowed his eyes, looking languid. What are you looking at me for? Ji and I are brothers. Jiang Ran was almost amused by him, nearly grinding his teeth in frustration. A woman's youth fades fast. Nanji, you need to hurry. I smiled and nodded. Yeah, I know, so I'm planning to get married this year. The words were spoken softly, yet they silenced everyone. Get married. Jiang Ran let out an involuntary cry, her gaze darting back and forth between me and Qin Muchuan. Wait, you two, that fast? When did this even start? You haven't even gone public, and now you're getting married. Qin Muchuan, you're something else, tight-lipped as ever, and you wouldn't admit it just now. Everyone present, including Qin Muchuan himself, looked utterly stunned. Nanji, what are you talking about? He rubbed his temples, a faint look of displeasure on his face. I haven't made up my mind yet. He was giving me a meaningful look, and I knew he wanted me to smooth things over myself. I remained unmoved, so he continued speaking. Gigi. Marriage is a major life event that takes a long time to plan and prepare for. I nodded. True, but half a year should be about enough. He stood up, reached out to pull me, and muttered in a low, reproachful tone, "What do you mean by that? Forced into marriage, that desperate to get hitched?" I sidestepped to dodge, smiling as I explained to everyone, my tone calm and unhurried. "My partner was introduced by an elder in the family a while back. My parents are very happy with them, and since I'm getting older, they'll feel more at ease if we settle down sooner." What? Everyone's faces changed dramatically as they exchanged bewildered glances. "Isn't that Chuan?" I shook my head, my smile unchanged. "You all know, he and I are brothers." With a crash, the wine glass in Qin Muchuan's hand shattered, glass scattering all over the floor, his hand covered in blood. "Ah, Chuan, your hand." He was completely oblivious. He stood up, anger flashing across his face, and grabbed my wrist. "With who? How come I don't know about this? What do you mean, Sunanji? What do you take me for?" "8, of course they're brothers, what else would they be? As for who I'm marrying, you'll find out on my wedding day." Jiang Ran watched him get worked up and asked with a half smile, "Qin Muchuan, what's wrong with you? Why are you so worked up? Besides, even Nanji is getting married. You're not getting any younger either, so you need to step it up. Don't hold everyone back." She has always been dissatisfied with Qin Muchuan, believing that his constant stringing me along is hypocritical. Now that I've finally seen him lose his cool, of course I have to throw a few jabs his way. Qin Muchuan's face darkened, and his grip unconsciously tightened. I cried out in pain and shoved him away with all my strength. He stumbled back a few steps, his lips parted, pupils slightly contracted, his eyes filled with confusion and hurt. "Qin Muchuan, what are you doing?" I rubbed my reddened wrist, thoroughly annoyed. I had never spoken harshly to him before. He stared at me blankly, utterly incredulous. "Sorry, did I hurt you?" "I didn't mean to." "Qin Muchuan, have some class. Nanji found someone. Shouldn't you be happy for her as a brother?" "Make sure to prepare a big red envelope when the time comes." He stared at the two of us and suddenly smiled. "Are you two ganging up on me, trying to force a marriage proposal?" Gigi, it's best to keep outsiders out of our affairs. Wait for me. In 2 more years, when I've made further progress in my career, I'll naturally give you an answer." Jiang Ran let out a sneer. "Nanji's about to get married, and you're still living in a dream. You think you're the only one for her." A friend, seeing how tense we were, pulled him aside and tried to smooth things over. "Everyone, please take your seats quickly. The wedding is about to begin." "Ah, Chuan, your hand. There's a clinic nearby. Go get it bandaged." Not wanting to cause a scene at someone else's wedding, Qin Muchuan was persuaded by a few male classmates and stepped outside. 9. "Nanji, you're amazing." Jiang Ran pulled me to sit down. "I used to think you'd stubbornly waste your life on a lost cause." She looked me over carefully, stared into my eyes, and asked in a low voice, "Is it true, or just to provoke him?" I rolled my eyes at her. "Come on, we're all grown adults here. Do you really have to resort to such childish tactics?" Jiang Ran's eyes still held a trace of doubt, yet he nodded with relief. "I hope you find a man whose eyes are only for you." I opened my phone, found a photo, and said, "Here, take a look." "Seriously, things are going pretty well for now." Jiang Ran glanced over. "He's good looking, but why does he have that official vibe? Kind of old school cadre style. Still, not bad. He looks reliable at first glance." "Nanji, a girl as pure and devoted as you deserves to be chosen without hesitation." My nose tingled, and I felt like crying. "So it's true that the onlooker sees most of the game. All the bitterness and hardship I've endured over the past 10 years, they could see it all along." "Nanji, it's finally over. You're definitely going to get better and better from now on." The wedding scene was incredibly beautiful. As the MC on stage recounted the couple's love story, Chenlu pursued the bride for 5 years, and they dated for another 3. The MC was a master at tugging heartstrings, painting Chenlu's journey to win back his wife with such deep affection and determination that the guests were deeply moved. Qin Muchuan happened to return to the scene at that moment. While the classmates present were expressing their emotions, they also couldn't help but turn their gazes toward me and Qin Muchuan. "Chuan, if you and Nanji end up together, your wedding story would be even more touching." A male classmate, drunk, teased him with a grin. "You and Nanji are so close, haven't you ever thought about getting together?" Qin Muchuan sat right across from me, looking at me with a complicated expression. In the end, he drank one glass after another. In gloomy silence, Jiangran gave a soft cough and asked me in a low voice. It's strange, given how persistent you are. What made you suddenly give up on him? I briefly told her about Nanji. Do you hate him? I shook my head. 10. I was a left-behind child, raised by my grandparents in a rough-and-tumble way. My parents worked hard in the big city and only brought me to live with them once their careers were stable. At that time, I was in junior high school. Having transferred from a rural school to one in a big city, everything felt so fresh and breathtaking. The students are all bright, lively, and impeccably dressed. I feel like a caveman stepping into a futuristic world. Can't do anything, can't take the bus, can't use appliances, can't operate a computer. They talked about new things I had never heard of. My grades were falling behind, and even my English pronunciation was secretly mocked by classmates. I'm not close with my parents. They never deprived me materially, but they never cared about whether I was happy, nor did they ever take the time to listen to my needs. They think that if I don't get good grades, it's because I'm stupid or just not trying hard enough. I gradually shut myself off. After junior high, I naturally didn't get into any good high school, but thanks to my dad's money power, I still managed to get into the city's top high school. The students here are smarter and more outstanding than those in junior high school. I felt even more inferior. It wasn't until Qin Muchuan transferred to our school, chose to sit with me, put up with my bad temper, and cheerfully coaxed me every single day. During a monthly exam in the winter of my sophomore year of high school, my grades, as usual, ended up at the bottom of the class once again. It seems like no matter how hard I try, the result is still the same. My life feels like it's over. I crept out of the dormitory in the dead of night. It was snowing heavily outside, and I trudged through the snow, my steps sinking deep and shallow with each stride. Qin Muchuan appeared suddenly. He followed me over and helped brush the snow off my clothes. What, getting up in the middle of the night to watch the snow all by yourself? I'll be with you. I know a place that's perfect for watching the sunrise. On a snowy day like this, it must be incredibly beautiful. He helped me climb over the wall and escape. The moonlight was as bright as day, shining upon us. He suddenly grabbed my hand and started running, and I was completely stunned. I unconsciously started running after him. The wind howled, rushing through me, yet I felt no chill at all. Like an old, worn-out bellows fitted with fresh wood. In that moment, I truly felt freedom and vitality. After running for what felt like an eternity, we arrived at a wide river, with a bamboo grove lining its banks. He stopped. Many bamboo stalks were bent low under the heavy snow. He shook them one by one, sending snow cascading down onto him. The moment the bamboo stood tall and proud again, I felt a surge of ancestral awakening. It was as if what he shook off wasn't the snow from the bamboo, but the gloom from my heart. I felt an unprecedented sense of relief. The sunrise that day was breathtakingly beautiful, beyond compare. Even 10 years later, I still vividly remember a boy holding my hand as we ran through the snow, greeting the first rays of the morning sun together. Since that day, I have accepted his kindness. I went to and from school with him every day, and we also studied together during self-study sessions. With his help, I made progress little by little. By the time I graduated from senior high school, my grades had climbed into the top 10 of the class, and I eventually got into my dream university. When I'm with him, I can't help but unconsciously mimic him, his mannerisms, his personality. I am becoming more confident and optimistic. He saved me during my darkest, most self-doubting, and hopeless days. He was like a beam of light, guiding me out of the shadows. He was never my moon, yet he truly lit up my world. So even when I realized I was just a stand-in, no matter how heartbroken I was, I couldn't bring myself to feel any hatred. 11. He has his first love, and I have my fiancé. All I want is for us to gracefully step back to being just ordinary classmates. As the banquet was drawing to a close, Qin Muchuan suddenly spoke up. Gigi, when are you going to bring your fiancé around for everyone to meet? After all these years as brothers, let me help you vet this. I smiled with detachment. You'll definitely see me on my wedding day, but no need to vet the spouse. Oh, don't tell me you don't have any. His close male classmates chimed in as well. Exactly. Nanji, why didn't you bring your partner along? You didn't even offer to pick me up or drop me off. He's busy. The whole country is on holiday, and he's the only one busy. What does he do for a living? Nanji, besides Huan, what man could ever catch your eye? Qin Muchuan narrowed his eyes. Tipsy, Su Nanji, besides me, who Would ever want you. He still seems convinced that I can't leave him. I'm speechless and too lazy to argue. Just then my phone rang, and a message popped up. I glanced down at it. I have something to take care of, so I might have to leave early. The elevator doors opened, and a man walked out. Aji, let me introduce you all. This is my fiancé, Chinxinya. Aji, are these all your classmates? Chinxinya put his arm around my shoulder and nodded to them. Nice to meet you. A few classmates started discussing among themselves. Chinxinya, I think I've heard that name before. Did you know? It does look familiar, but I can't quite place it. Probably just a coincidence in names. Chinxinya smiled. Nanji and I are getting married in October. Everyone, if you're free, you must come and have a drink. Qin Muchuan's face darkened as he blocked the elevator entrance. Sunanji, don't you have anything to explain to me? Chuan, you're drunk. Chen Lu went over to pull him, but was pushed away. I'm not drunk, Sunanji. You clearly said you'd be my girlfriend, so why are you with another man now? He was drunk. Chinxinya shielded me behind him. I said sternly, the one who is your girlfriend isn't me, Sunanji, but someone else, right? He stood frozen in place, a hint of unease flickering across his face. Gigi, no, it's not what you think. Chuan, let it go. You've had too much to drink. Don't make a scene. Others also chimed in to persuade. Exactly, Chuan, now that Nanji has a partner, you should be happy for her. Qin Muchuan was both anxious and furious. He wanted to say something but was cut off before he could even open his mouth, held back by others, his eyes red and wide. He watched me step into the elevator, his gaze filled with resentment and fury. 12. After leaving the hotel, I got into Chinxinya's car. Done already? I thought you'd be stuck at the office for days. Chinxinya is currently running his own startup. He's in the middle of a critical phase for his latest project. Working around the clock, he keeps a simple cot in his office and crashes there whenever he's too tired to go home. Aji, we haven't seen each other for 3 days, but it's not time for the date yet. He is a very typical engineering-minded guy, meticulous and well-organized. He even has his assistant schedule his dates on the calendar. Appointments are scheduled weekly, down to the minute, and never late. He will ask for my opinion before arranging the date itinerary. I went from feeling uncomfortable at first to truly enjoying it now. It wasn't a date day, so when he texted me asking where I was, I casually sent him my location and joked, I'm watching someone else's wedding. It's pretty fun. Want to come over? I didn't expect him to come over. Gee, I just miss you a little. I don't know why, but I really want to see you. He turned his head to look at me, his expression not seeming fake. I had my assistant reschedule my calendar, increasing our dates from twice a week to 4 times, so today is our date day. From now on, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays are all date days. Today is Thursday, so we should go on a date. His ears turned red, and there was a shy smile in his eyes. It's a huge contrast to his usual composed, old-school cadre demeanor. I suddenly felt like teasing him, so I mischievously slipped my hand under his clothes, feeling his abs, and said in a syrupy voice, So, big brother, does your schedule have any plans for when you'll let me touch you? His body suddenly went rigid. He didn't say a word, staring straight ahead without looking sideways, his hands gripping the steering wheel tightly. I whispered all sorts of suggestive things in his ear, but he remained unmoved. That made me lose interest a bit. It wasn't until he exited the highway, pulled over by a small garden at the roadside, and parked the car, that he turned his head and said in a hoarse voice, Aji, letting you touch me isn't on my schedule. I'm your fiancé. You can do whatever you want. He unbuttoned his shirt, took my hand, and pressed it against his chest. I was on the highway just now, couldn't afford to get distracted. I'm ready now. Come on. I let out a snort of laughter, leaned in and stole a quick kiss on his cheek. He froze for a moment, then reached up to touch the spot where I had kissed him, a storm of darkness swirling in his eyes. He suddenly reached out and pulled me onto his lap, one hand on my waist, the other cradling the back of my head. He leaned in and kissed me. The crisp scent of pine from him lingered in the air with every breath. His kiss was a bit clumsy, but he was a quick learner. Only a thin layer of clothing separated us. His heart pounded like a drum, its beat traveling through his chest and into me, making me tremble slightly in response. After the kiss, I pressed my head against his chest. Old cadre, this can't be your first time, can it? He cleared his throat lightly. Why don't you teach me more, Aji? I will. Study hard. 13. Chinchilla accompanied me to a pottery class. One of the things I appreciate most about being with him is that he never spoils the fun. When I was a kid in the countryside, I loved playing with mud, shaping it into all kinds of forms. This is one of my few hobbies. After returning to the city, I realized there were actual pottery classes available. Both my parents looked down on it, thinking it was useless. They just wanted me to put all my energy into studying. My grades are poor, so I don't dare to make any requests at all. When I grew up, I also told Chin Muchuan that I wanted to go and systematically learn it all over again. What's the point? You're not a kid anymore. Only Chinchilla took me straight to a pottery experience studio, signed me up, and arranged for me to start from the basics with 2 classes per week. All the other trainees in my cohort were elementary school students. I have been promoted to the oldest beginner student at the pottery studio. Ma'am, you're still into playing with mud at your age. Exactly. Auntie didn't have the chance to learn when she was young, so now she can finally study openly and without any shame. To this day, my mom still thinks I have way too much free time and tells Chinchilla not to spoil me. I went to the pottery studio again and spent an hour throwing clay on the wheel, then shaped a little clay figurine in his likeness and gave it to him. After dinner, he walked me home and then went back to the office. At 10 in the evening, just as I was about to go to bed, Chinchilla called and asked if I wanted to grab a late-night snack together. Would it be too late for you to come over? His company isn't close to my apartment. It takes at least 40 minutes even by car. Aji, I've arrived. Open the door. He walked in carrying several buckets of skewers, and the moment he opened the door, a strong, mouth-watering aroma filled the air. You didn't eat much for dinner. The barbecue place downstairs from the office is really good, so I brought some for you to try. The next day, Chinchilla came to my company to pick me up for dinner. It doesn't really feel like a date day today. Huh, this isn't a date, it's just a meal. Well, he always comes up with all sorts of excuses to see me more and more frequent. The dates went from twice a week to 4 times a week, and eventually were cancelled altogether. I don't need to schedule a time to see my fiancé, do I? Even his assistant was dumbfounded. The boss is really losing all his principles just to see Miss Sue. 14. After months of hard work, Chinchilla finally had some free time. He drove 1,000 miles to take me to Jindajen to experience the entire porcelain making process. We rented a small villa in a pottery village, and he hired a master to teach me. He accompanied me to class, cooked for me, and helped out when I was making pottery. He has studied painting and has an excellent grasp of color, so he is often the one to handle the painting part. Even the weird little things I casually make, he would carefully match with patterns. In his spare time, he borrowed the landlord's electric scooter and took me to the nearby mountains to pick wild vegetables, fish by the river, wade into the water to catch snails, and run wild with me through the hills and fields. I've done everything I wanted to do as a child. No matter what I do, Chinchilla always follows behind with a gentle smile. I've been in a good mood lately and posted a lot of photos on my moments, almost all of which were taken by Chinchilla. Received a private message from Nanji. Peacock spreading its tail. Who are you trying to seduce? I haven't checked anyone's moments in a long time. Looks like she hasn't been doing well lately. A girl who is truly loved and fulfilled inside would never attack others with such bitterness and spite. I ignored it and simply blocked them. After I blocked Nanji, she kept adding me from other phone numbers, and every friend request was just her hurling insults at me. Chin Muchuan tracked down my address using the photos I posted on my moments. I was just getting off my e-bike, carrying a bucket of fish and shrimp. When I saw him, he was impeccably dressed in a suit and tie, exuding an air of elite sophistication, while we were all in coarse homespun clothes, still caked with mud. Is this the life you want to live? He put on a condescending air, looking me up and down with undisguised disdain. Sunanji, you're so easy to please, can't wait to jump at any man who comes along. I've sent you so many messages, and you haven't replied to a single one. Ever since I muted him, I haven't even opened our chat, so naturally, I never saw his messages. Chinchilla parked the car, walked over, took the bucket from my hands, and pulled me inside the house. I'm going to pick some veggies from the landlord's garden later and make spicy stir-fry hot pot for dinner. 15. After being completely ignored by us, Chin Muchuan finally exploded. Sunanji, after 10 years by my side, this is the kind of trash you ended up with. I stared at him steadily. Chin Muchuan, you still can't shake that arrogant, disrespectful attitude of yours. My eyes shine with light, my heart is filled with love, and I have someone by my side. What's wrong with that? Taking Chinchilla's arm, he is the best man in my eyes. Caught off guard by the compliment, Chinchilla's eyes lit up instantly. He curled his lips and gently tickled my palm. Ah, G, come back with me, let's start over. Qin Muchuan softened his tone and spoke with patience. The usually composed veteran official lost his temper for the first time. Are you trying to snatch someone right in front of me? Do you take me for a dead man? Get lost. He was already imposing, and Qin Muchuan was taken aback by the shout, his face flushing red as he argued. Sunanji was always meant to be my girlfriend. Qin Muchuan, if you keep this up, we can't even be friends anymore. I was never your girlfriend. I was just a stand-in for your one true love. Wasn't it always Nanji you loved? Now that you've had her, why are you still bothering me? If he stops pestering me, I won't bother to call him out and tear off his mask. Qin Muchuan thought he had hidden it well, but upon hearing my words, he froze as if struck, his face a mix of shock and embarrassment as he stammered in explanation. Gigi, that's not true, we're no longer involved. So even someone you've chased after for years can be given up in just a few short months. I'm sure of it. The one I love is you, Sunanji. Every word I've said is true. How could you bear to give up on our 10-year relationship? It was useless. The moment he let Nanji paint me in such a bad light, I knew we were done. I sent him the screenshots of Nanji's insults against me. Please get her under control first. Chinchinya hoisted me over his shoulder with one arm and carried me home. Slamming the door shut with a bang, Qin Muchuan chased after him, but was met with a closed door. 16. After entering the house, Chinchinya didn't put me down. He went straight up to the second floor and only set me on his lap once we were in my room. Aji, sorry, I'm feeling a bit off. The moment I heard you two have 10 years of history, I was insanely jealous. I reached up, wrapped my arms around his neck, and gently kissed him. You and Songyi have 20 years of history, and I haven't said a thing. Songyi and Chinchinya grew up together, went to school together, and later started a business together. They're as close as brothers. I made him laugh, and he shifted from being passive to taking the initiative. Let me see those pecs and abs. And also, the man willingly stripped off all his clothes. Summer cicadas were chirping outside, the last rays of sunset streamed through the window onto his face, and the fine beads of sweat on his forehead glistened in the sunlight, eventually gathering into droplets that fell onto my neck. We spent half a month living a carefree, idyllic life in the pottery village. When I returned to the city, the trunk of my car was filled with my masterpieces, all kinds of pottery pieces. When I got home, I collapsed onto the sofa, exhausted. He pulled me into his arms and asked me seriously, Aji, should we go get the marriage certificate first, with 3 months still to go before our wedding? There's no rush to get the marriage certificate. I stared at him, puzzled. Being with you, I often lose control and break my own plans, but I know my heart all too well. As long as you're by my side, everything seems to come alive with color. I want to be with you for the long haul. Aji, will you marry me? He pulled out a beautiful diamond ring. No idea when he had it ready. I agreed to it. The next day, I put on some light makeup and went with him to the Civil Affairs Bureau. The process was quick. In less than an hour, 2 bright red marriage certificates lay before us. I held it in my hands and looked at it over and over again. Are we married now? Yes, Mrs. Chin. 17. A week before our wedding, Chinchinya's company, Morningstar Technology, went public. We went to the stock exchange together to ring the bell. Only then did I understand his intention to get the marriage certificate early. Back then, I just want to introduce you to the world as my wife. We skyrocketed to fame as the hottest new tech elites, with the names Chinchinya and Sunanji frequently appearing across major media outlets. When he proposed to me, his company was in the process of confirming share allocations for its IPO. We got our marriage certificate early, so his shares would become joint marital property, and he added my name to his shares. This is what he considers romantic and responsible. We don't have a prenuptial agreement, just his word. Everything I have is yours. The most romantic words in the world are not I love you, but everything I have is yours to share. On my wedding day, Qin Muchuan didn't show up. He only had someone deliver an expensive set of jewelry, but it was locked up by Chinchinya. Later, I heard bits and pieces about him from classmates. He resigned from his job in Jiangqing and returned to Binhai, the city where we once attended university and worked together. Years later, I heard he was still alone. As for Nanji, after Qin Muchuan met me in Jingdezhen, she never bothered me again, and I haven't heard anything about her since. We were never connected to begin with. After marriage, Chinchinya still supports my little hobbies. I wear many hats. Besides managing the Su family's businesses and being a major shareholder of Morningstar Corporation, I also run a pottery studio. On Chinchinya's office desk, there were many pottery pieces I had made, cute, quirky, ugly, and good-looking. Every time reporters come for an interview, they get curious upon seeing these and ask about them. He would proudly tell them, "My wife made this for me with her own hands." My mom sighed, "Only Hoshino spoils you like that." The man secretly hooked his finger around mine and said with a helpless smile, "Mom, I'm getting on in years, and I finally managed to get a wife. I have no choice but to spoil her for the rest of my life, the end."